So I just every now and then like to do a little spiritual teaching on some of the things that we're doing out in the field. I don't know, this is close to the first time we've done this all together, but we'll be doing this a lot more. We're about to get into the normalcy of GIT for finally. Kind of had some normal, but
1 month in.
1 month in, yeah. Well, we've had some normal, but anyways, so obviously what we're doing is we're transplanting, right? And so what are the characteristics of these plants? Anybody? What's been happening with these plants?
They've been growing.
They've been growing them, and how did we start growing them?
With the seeds?
Yeah, so we started them with the seed, and where were they growing?
Inside Torah.
Inside the greenhouse,
Yeah.
right? So they started out being very protected. They were getting absolutely everything they needed in the greenhouse. They were on a heat mat. Everything was protected about them. Everything was, the watering was very careful. Everything was very careful. They even have little individual cells in this tray, right? And we do it differently, but they're always planted individually because the focus is to get them ready to go where? Right, out in the field. To get them ready to go out in the field. And what is the field? Did you guys hear Brad talking about the field a little bit?
The world.
What's that?
The world.
The field is the world. So we're getting these little plants ready to go out into the world. So think about what's happened to the plant so far, and think about where it's going, and think about what it's going to experience, right? Nathan was just down there a couple of rows back, and he stuck his finger down through the plastic to get ready to plant, and what did he find?
Fire ants.
A big pile of fire ants. So is this plant ready? So you kind of get what I'm getting at with people. Plants are people, right? So is this plant ready? Are you ready? Part of what you're even doing here at GIT is to get ready, right? Get a foundation. So what's the foundation of this plant right here? Well, we first of all, we put good soil in the plant itself, right? We started out with really good soil. And we planted the seed at the right depth. Just everything that I was talking about earlier, we did. And so we decided it was ready because we started looking just like, she's been doing here. And we just pushed up on the bottom and we're looking at the roots. Now, I'll just tell you right now, here, hold that, Lily. And as comparison, and then hold that one. You notice the difference?
Yeah.
Size, but
Dirt.
what?
This one's wet, this one's dry.
Right, and this one's heavier, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you tell that immediately because it's a little dry. We always prefer our plants to go out into the field nice and moist, okay? Now they're not, they're medium. It's okay, it'll be fine, right? But we prefer them to go out in the field a little bit more like this. Now, a couple of other important things, just on planting, especially transplanting. Nathan, how about the roots? What are we looking for on the roots, generally speaking, and what are the pitfalls and other things that you don't want?
You just don't want the roots to get so compact in that they get root bound and they just kind of tangle up together, and so then they won't go anywhere because you want the roots to go down and out and away from the plant rather than sticking up in a little ball. So
Don't want to get too set in your ways.
Yeah. So sometimes, excuse me, you need to be kicked out of the house, right? If we're coddled, because that's what these cells do, right? they're coddling these little plants. We are familiar with that term, right? But that is great for a period of time, but at some point you got to be ready to get out and you know, as parents, as you guys grow up and get married and have parents, and even what you're experiencing now as young people, I mean, you're out of the house for all practical purposes. Now, are you getting thrown out into the wild field with nothing? No, we're in a place that it's a garden. It's a place of learning. It's a place of growing. It's where the water comes and the rain comes and all of these things, right? Where we're growing. And so that's important to understand too. But it has to be done at the right time. If you wait too long, it's lo tov. It's not good. If we do it too early, what were those plants we were planting the other day, James? I can't remember what they were. It was, some of them were falling out. Were those beets?
Beets.
Those are the beets, huh? And it was okay, but a lot of the dirt, the roots, you know, but we wanted to get them in the field and stuff like that. It was okay. It was a little early, but and they'll be fine. You can see them over there. They're growing just fine. But anyways, so as a plant, as a transplant, and this is getting a little bit long, but you know, they're going in the greenhouse. We kind of harden them off. We're getting them ready to get now out in the field. We're letting them experience a little bit, but then we actually plant them in the field. So when we're planting them, as you're doing here, we're laying them out. We're getting it ready. And we're being gentle with them, and we're getting them down. Nathan has come out earlier, and he's run the water. So we're preparing everything for them to get out and be healthy in the field. But once they're out here, then it's up to these plants and the roots that they have built on already to start searching out and growing and looking for those nutrients and all those things. I can't do it anymore. I can just keep the water coming. I can keep putting fertilizer on, but these plants they're out in the field now. So they're going to start working. They're really working for one purpose. What is that one purpose? To survive. There's yes, that is absolutely part of it. But what comes at the culmination of surviving?
To bear fruit.
To bear fruit. Their purpose is to bear fruit. To bear fruit for the plant? Just so the plant can have fruit?
No, for others.
For others. That's one sole purpose, is to bear fruit for others. So, you know, I am always hoping that will sink in my own life, and trying to bear fruit for others. So when you're out here planting today, again, I will, and you guys, I know you've already done this with the tomatoes over there and everything like that, and they're looking really healthy, by the way. Remember to pray for them, but remember to pray for yourself, and because you're in that place in your life where you're out in the field at this point. You've been transplanted. None of you are, you know, I mean, it's nice you get phones and you get to call home, but you're out in the field. And so out in the field, what are some of the negatives? We got fire ants, we got wind, we got rain, we got all these things. It's supposed to be that way, isn't it? It's supposed to be that way. It's important, really important, to embrace that, because this is what's going to produce fruit. And your whole purpose in life is to be a praise to the Father and to produce fruit for others. So anyways, just kind of think about that as you are planting, and obviously you're going to be planting all year.